Hello and welcome back to Aodhamair's tutorials. This week we're making a version of the TARDIS shirt that I was wearing with my TARDIS dress. It's not exactly the same because I actually sewed that t-shirt, but we're going to use a pre-made t-shirt this time because it's just a little bit easier and I think you can get pretty much the same effect. So this is what you'll need, and after that let's get going. I bought two t-shirts here. You can either go for a black t-shirt or go for a TARDIS blue t-shirt. For the purpose of the tutorial I'll be using the black t-shirt. So just get an ordinary women's black t-shirt. If you have a choice of neckline, I would say go for a round neckline. You will also need a printout of the police box font. If you just Google police box font in and then look at the pictures, you should be able to find one and print it off. If you want a different size of font, then you can also just type it yourself. It's the Gill Sans regular uppercase is the one that is used in on the TARDIS police box sign. Also you will need fabric paint. Now this one you don't actually have to iron, I think. Oh no, you do. No, this one you do have to iron for 5 minutes, so you also need an iron with this to set it and make it water fast. You can then wash it on 40 degrees in the washing machine. So you need something like that, a brush to apply it. You will also need a cutting surface, a scalpel, a fabric pencil, needle and thread, and a piece of blue fabric. Now if you're using the blue if you're using the blue t-shirt, then you could also use a different color of fabric, but I like the blue with the black, so that's why I'm going to be going with the black t-shirt. You may also need a pair of scissors. Okay, let's get going. So the first step is to, if you haven't already, print off an example of the font and get your cutting board ready. And I'll just change the camera so you can see what I'm doing. Get your printout and your scalpel and very carefully cut out all of these letters. Now you may need a little ruler as well, but I'm just going to freehand this. Just take the letters out like that. So you do need a bit of patience to get them all out. But once you got that done, cut out roughly around it. Doesn't have to be neat. And also cut these things apart like so. So you end up with 3 separate sections. Now I saved the one from my previous shirt, so I don't have to do this all again, but this is what it looks like when you have the letters all cut out. Obviously the letters that have like the O that has a little center in it will fall out, but I think you can imagine that yourself. And grab your t-shirt, and like I said, I'm using this black t-shirt. Now what you want to do is arrange the cutout templates of your letters along the neckline. Make sure they're in the center and just pin your template to your shirt. Now grab your white sewing pencil and fill in those letters. Before removing, you can just lift up your template and check if you think it's clear enough. I think that's fine. I'm going to remove these pins and remove my templates. And there you have it, in chalk. Now get your fabric paint, a small little brush, and maybe a container you can dip your brush into to get excess paint off, like so. I now very carefully trace the letters. Sometimes it can be handy to print the letters twice so you have an example how for example, the B looks with the inserts on the letters in it. By the way, if you are using a shirt like I am now that has been folded in a packet, then maybe it's handy to iron it first. I should have probably done that. As always, I'm screwing this up so you don't have to. I'm just gonna see if I can find a smaller brush and do the small letters and also clean up the lines of the bigger letters. So I'll be right back. So, I've also gotten a sandwich, because I had the feeling that you could all hear my stomach rumble. So apologies for eating. Alright, there we go. Once you're happy with that, leave it to dry. It needs about an hour, I think, or so before it's like dry enough that it's not tacky. And then you can iron it to fixate the paint onto the shirt so you can wash it. Now, in the meantime, let's put this to the side and make us some bow ties. So get some TARDIS blue fabric. Doesn't have to be silk, but I still have this left over from my dress. Cut a piece of fabric twice the width of your bow tie, and you want it to be a little bit wider than your bow tie because you want to crumple it up a little bit and be able to fold to the sides. So I'm gonna go with this. I think that's enough. So once you have your piece of fabric, fold the long ends in first. Fold them to the middle, like so. Then fold the shorter ends to the middle, or even overlap them a bit. You can tuck this over like so if you want. That way you don't have any raw edges. Just to keep it in place, just pin it quickly. There. Now take your needle and thread. And I'm going to use this double, just so it's a bit stronger. Just a simple running stitch like so. Down the width of this. Okay. Now this is the front of the bow tie, so what you want to do is check, once you tighten these two ends together, that the pleats are nice and crisp. So pull on those end bits and then check if you like the way this pleats. Start with a half knot, like so, and then rearrange your bow tie into orderly pleats that you want. Now I'm going to take a narrower strip of this fabric. Doesn't have to be very long. Something like this is fine, and then tuck in the edges again and place that around the middle like so. Pin it to hold it temporarily. Cut off excess. There we go. Now take your needle and thread again. Just gonna fold over this raw edge like so, and then pin it again. And then put a knot now on the end of the thread and just stitch that up. And I'm just using a whip stitch to close that band around the bow tie. Do a couple of stitches in the same place, and then at the last time you do that, poke your needle through the loop
like so, and then tighten it. And this is what you end up with. A cute little bow tie.
Now, back to our shirt. And you can make as many as you want, of course. You can like cover the entire thing with bow ties, but I'm just going to show you how I did it on my costume, which is I placed it in the center under the public hole box. I've just left the thread on because I'm going to use the same thread to stitch it on. So poke your needle through one layer of the shirt, make sure you have only the top layer, and then it's probably easiest to get into one of these folds of the bow tie like that. Poke your needle through there and just stitch it through a bunch of times on both sides of the little band that you just put around the bow tie, and that should keep it in place. Once you feel that is secure enough and it's not going to come off, then you can bring your needle to the back. Again, do a couple of stitches in one place and poke the needle through the loop and cut away the excess thread. There's another little thread here. I'll cut that away as well, just to clean it up. Don't forget to iron the fabric paint when it is dry. And there you have it. This is the completed t-shirt. I really hope you enjoyed this tutorial and it's useful to you if you're making a TARDIS costume, or you just like Doctor Who and you want a Doctor Who TARDIS t-shirt. So thank you very much for watching. Try it out. Give me a like if you enjoyed this video. Check out my social media and I hope to see you next week. Bye everyone!